wonder why you keep falling into the same relationship patterns? Are you tired of feeling anxious or distant in your partnerships? And what if understanding your attachment style could transform your love life from the inside out? Hey there, gorgeous human. I'm Christy, and today we're going to be diving deep into the fascinating world of attachment styles and how they can impact our relationships. But even more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can take radical responsibility for your own growth so that you can create the most epic relationships. Are you ready? Let's fucking do this.
Welcome to Create Your Happy. Happiness Hussy Christy Holt here, ready for some real talk about creating healthy, loving relationships that make you truly fucking happy. Let's dive in.
Have you ever felt like you're speaking a different emotional language than your partner? What if I told you there's a reason for that? All right, let's start with the basics, because what the hell are attachment styles anyway, right? Well, they're basically the ways that we learn to connect with others based on our early experiences, especially with our caregivers. And let me tell you, they can really have a massive impact on how we show up in our relationships today. I mean, maybe you're the clingy one or the distant one or somewhere in between. Let's break it down. There are 4 main attachment styles. Number 1, secure. This secure person, as a result of consistent and loving attunement with their caregiver, can easily trust other humans. They can communicate effectively, and they're actually really quite comfortable with both intimacy and independence. Major goals, right? Number 2, we have the anxious attachment style. Now, these folks are worried that their partner will eventually lose interest or become distant or abandon them, and they're hypervigilant about rejection and need a lot of reassurance. Number 3, dismissive avoidant. These dismissive avoidant types tend to downplay the importance of intimacy and typically keep their partners at arm's length. They are the emotionally unavailable ones. And finally, 4, we have the fearful avoidant, which is a super fun mix of anxious and avoidant. Essentially, they have a deep fear of rejection, but also crave closeness, which can really result in some very hot and cold interactions. Talk about confusing, right? Now, do any of these sound familiar to you? Don't worry, there's hope. None of these styles are your fault. They're actually natural responses to your experiences from childhood, but this is a big fucking but. You are responsible for how you show up in your relationships now. Now, of course, we were talking about generic attachment styles, and these are really extreme versions. And of course, the truth is there's really just securely attached and insecurely attached with a variety of coping mechanisms. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a relationship dance that you can't control? Let's take a look at how the interactions and dynamics of these styles together play out. It's like a dance, and sometimes it's a beautiful waltz, and other times it's like dancing with the drunk uncle who's stepping on your toes repeatedly. Now, for example, when an anxious person is with a secure partner, it can be pretty beautiful. Imagine we have an anxious person feeling in that familiar pit of their stomach when their partner is late. Instead of, outright spiraling, our anxious person instead learns to take a deep breath and voice their feelings. They might tell their partner, I'm having some insecurities come up. Can we talk? Now, the secure partner listens patiently, provides reassurance, and boom, the anxiety can melt away. Picture our secure person. They're secure as fuck, and they're creating a safe space for their partner to open up. They're patient, they're encouraging, and slowly but surely, the walls are starting to come down. It's like watching a flower bloom in slow motion. But when an anxious person tangos with an avoidant partner, holy shit, it's like a tornado of neediness meets a brick wall of emotional unavailability. Imagine this anxious person blowing up their partner's phone because they didn't text back in 0.2 seconds. And the avoidant person's response? You know it. They retreat even further, confirming the anxious person's worst fears. It's a vicious cycle that would make even the strongest person want to curl up in a ball and cry. And let's not forget about the avoidant dance. 2 avoidant people together in a relationship, it would be about as warm as the Arctic Circle in January. They're emotionally distant, neither willing to be the first to open up. And I bet you can imagine how long that will last, if it does last. and how utterly unhappy these people would be together if things didn't change. And of course, we've got the anxious combo, right? We've got two anxious people constantly seeking reassurance from each other, but never actually feeling secure. It's like watching a puppy chase its tail. It's cute for a minute, but exhausting after that. Finally, we've got the secure dance. This is the relationship equivalent of watching professional ballroom dancers, okay? They communicate openly, they support one another, and they handle conflicts like mature adults. It's actually so beautiful, it might make you want to puke rainbows while claiming their entire existence is bullshit. I have been there. Now, I know some of you are thinking, great, I'm doomed to repeat these patterns forever, but hold up, lover, because this is where radical responsibility comes in. You see, while we can't change our past or our partner, we absolutely can change ourselves. In fact, you're literally the only one who can change your experience, and that's actually where the magic happens. First step is awareness. Start noticing your patterns. Do you freak out when your partner doesn't text back immediately? Do you push people away when they get too close? These are clues to your attachment style. Now, while your past may be contributing to how your present is playing out, you have the ability to interrupt any of these past patterns that were created to protect you in a moment of need, replacing them with new patterns that can serve the incredible human that you are today, the one that deserves to be truly fucking happy. Next, it's time for a little bit of self-reflection. Think about your childhood. How were your emotional needs met or not met? This isn't about blaming your parents. It's actually simply about understanding where your patterns have come from. This new awareness might be a little uncomfortable, but this clear seeing is actually the life-changing shift that can literally change your relationships from the inside out. Now, here is where it gets a little bit more exciting, because once you have this awareness, you can start to make different choices in your life. You can pause before responding so that you can respond versus react. You can begin to communicate your needs more clearly instead of expecting your partner to read your mind. Now, let me be real with you here. This shit is not easy because it takes vulnerability, compassion, and a courageous willingness to be a bit uncomfortable. But you know what? You're worth it. Your relationships are worth it. So here are a few practical steps that you can take today to start getting this awareness. Number one, start a journaling practice. Write about your relationship patterns, your fears, your needs, your desires. Get that stuff out of your head and onto some paper. I'll even include some journaling prompts below in the show notes to get you started. Number two, practice self-compassion. When you catch yourself in one of these old patterns, don't beat yourself up because you didn't know then what you know now. Knowing differently now, though, means that you can make a different choice next time. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and move on armed with your new wisdom. Number three, communicate. Tell your partner what you need. Be honest about your fears and take a chance on vulnerability. Yeah, it's scary as hell, but it's how you actually build real intimacy. And number four, work with a therapist, mentor, or coach. Someone who you trust enough to be completely honest and yourself with. Because sometimes we need a little extra support, and that's okay. In fact, it's part of the ride. Just as we cannot see ourselves fully without a mirror, we cannot understand ourselves fully without an opportunity for honest interpersonal reflection. Now remember, healing your attachment wounds isn't about becoming perfect. It's actually just about becoming more aware, more compassionate, more authentic in your relationships. It's about recognizing the wholeness that you already have, and a matter of unlearning all that is not truly you. You have the power to create secure, fulfilling connections. It starts with you, and it starts with taking radical responsibility for your own growth and evolution. So, are you ready to create the love and life that you desire? Because I believe in you, and I believe that you have everything that you need within you to transform your relationships and live a life that you fucking love. If you're looking to dive a little bit deeper into this work, I'm going to share some tools below in the show notes to help you get started. And if you're feeling called to work with me one-on-one, my inbox is always open. So, are you ready to break free from these attachment patterns and create the relationship of your dreams? Let's do this. Remember, life and love are messy fucking beautiful adventures. Embrace the journey. Trust yourself and keep showing up with an open heart. I'm sending you so much love. Now let's go do some epic shit, shall we?
Thanks for listening. Sharing what I know about creating healthy, happy relationships means the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, comment, leave a review, and share it with a friend. For additional links and resources and ways to connect, please check the show notes. Now get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.